Okay, let me first uh, explain about the installation of a Raspberry Pi. As I said, we're going to install two different Linux operating systems. Okay, the first one is Raspbian, which gives you uh, um, most generic Linux command, which does not have pre-built-in many pre-built-in tools. So we're going to learn something about Linux commands. Okay, and after that, so one the Raspbian Linux will be installed on the first SD card, 32 gigabyte SD card. If you have a second SD card, then we will install Kali Linux, which has multiple cybersecurity tools. So we'll practice some tools from your handheld small Linux box. Okay. So that is the second phase. Requirement for this class described on your syllabus. I think a few homework assignments. Homework assignments will be given from Linux command exercises. Okay, that is that. And then another requirement is project, individual project. So each individual student needs to do project. I explained that on the syllabus. So we'll discuss it later. Okay. Raspberry Pi, we already know, right? We reviewed this Pi Day. Pi Day, there's not really Pi, Raspberry Pi, but mathematics Pi. Okay, what is pi in number? 30.14, right? 314. So Pi Day is March 14th. So Raspberry Pi community take the advantages from the celebrations already designated. So Raspberry Pi is a mini computer running Linux. So any Linux distributors may be able to be installed on your small Linux box. There is a SD card. This SD card needs to be installed first, right? And this SD card needs to be bootable, which means once you have this SD card, then this system needs to be booted from that SD card. This itself does not have any, it has a 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabyte, I forgot. I think 1 gigabyte memory, okay? Storage, a little bit of storage, like EPROM. So main storage is rely on this SD card. Who invented this Raspberry Pi? What country? First of all, America? That is correct. UK. What about Arduino? Arduino? Italy, right? Arduino. Haven't you heard of it? Arduino. No? Yeah. It's another microcontroller. Arduino. You don't know Arduino. Anybody taken 555 or 560? Okay, similar to this, but this Arduino Uno is there's a lot smaller in all capacities than this. Okay, but sometimes Arduino is much convenient for you to do program. You don't need to worry about any operating systems, anything at all, because Arduino Uno has EEPROM, which already built C compiler and Linux. So you don't need to. You can, but you don't need to install. You simply use it in C programming. Okay, and any kind of sensors, if you want to install, then you can plug in the sensor and a little bit of programs, and also you can send this sensor data through. If you install there some transceiver, then signal can be transmitted out. Okay, and also receive if you want. This is similar to that, but this one is more like a Linux box, like your computer. Okay, if you have a really bigger size of SD card, and if you increase the memory size, then you can still install Windows 10, for example. Okay, but there's no way that you need to misuse this for Windows 10, right? This is good for Linux. So Raspberry Pi has 4 USB port, and also it has Ethernet port, but you don't need to Ethernet port here, right? We will set up a Wi-Fi today, and then HDMI, so that if you have external terminal, then you can see it, and then there is a mini USB for computing and supply, power supply, and then AV port. There are some other ports also. It has 40 pins, so you can connect some sensors here, right? So external resources, if needed, many times we need, right? Keyboard, mouse, monitor, storage box, gaming devices if you really need to do. There are 2 models, Model A and Model B. And type, there are 3 types. So what we are working on here is this. Okay. This is a type that we want. So it has USB, HDMI, and if you may also use this pin for external terminal. You may use this pin for camera, external camera. Raspberry Pi is very good and strong to take photo. Okay. Yeah, in my another class, 555, we looked at it, right? So no one here is taking that course. Okay. So there are different kinds of cameras available: IR camera and thermal camera, and IR filtered camera, the camera that you are using at home for your daily life is IR filtered camera, right? Anybody here photograph? Anybody here is good, Richard? Do you have cameras?
I got the I do photos, but I do digital photos. I have a big camera, but not always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So digital camera has a lens with the IR filter. Therefore, when you take a photo contains the picture the way that you look through your eyes, right? Our eyes can see all the objects through light. You don't look at anything. Light has its own the frequency range, right? Infrared is the frequency a little lower than the red light, right? So it is called the infrared, a little lower frequency. You don't see that, right? Do you have any magic eyes? Yeah. If there is no light, anyone can see still through infrared? No, right? If there is no light, me, I cannot see any. Right? What about lens? Lens, there's no such things, right? Lens can take any frequencies, right? Light is one of the sources that camera lens can take. So if you remove IR filter out from your camera, then that'll be a very, very expensive camera. There is a night vision camera. So you can take photo during daytime when there is light. Still you can take photos at night. So light is not really required. Military, from your experience. So military has IR cameras, right? So let me ask you a question. So you're Navy, Air Force? Maybe?
Army.
Your Army? Oh, then you are the right person. The Army has full gear. So one of they have some helmet, something. I think that is a camera. Is that IR camera so that you can see even dark at night?
Yeah, so like there's multiple attachments you can have for the Rhino. They call it a Rhino because like rhinoceros.
So through that lens, you can see.
So like you can change it. So you can have like it could be like an optic. So you can have it like be like night. Most likely you use it for like night vision.
Right. So not night
Infrared,
vision,
like,
right?
You wouldn't really. That's not really attached. You wouldn't really use infrared in the field.
Right.
But it's mainly for night vision. But it's really really expensive.
Right. That is expensive.
Yeah. Like if you
But why that is expensive? Because some optical engineering, optical technology is far advanced. So there is a reverse. There's a reverse engineers. Hey, let's go back to the original where there is no filter. So and a little more than that. Okay. So camera. If you do not have a very, very expensive camera, if you have a very cheap camera like a surveillance camera, then you can dismantle it, and then usually there is a very cheap filter. Filter is nothing but some plastics. If you take that out and view it, then you can see even at night. Okay. All right. So that is a type. that is Model B Type 3, that is called the Raspberry Pi 3. Pi 3. 3 is a Type 3. The model itself is B. Okay. So we have a multiple models and specifications. Model B, that's not right. USB port, there are 4. Memory, 1 gigabyte. And general purpose I/O pins, 40s, all. And network ports. Model B, Pi 3, is the only one far advanced so that it can take Wi-Fi signals, right? Can take Wi-Fi signal, particularly 11n, 802.11n, and also you can take Ethernet 802.3, and you can take Bluetooth 802.15.1, particularly BLE, Bluetooth low energy. So all of this possible. Look at this. The others, 802.3 only, which is Ethernet. So you need to have a physical connection to the network. But we don't need to worry about. That's what we looked at. Okay, so how can we install? First of all, you need to have an SD card. Formatting. It should be format type. If you format it from Windows systems, what is the file type? I just forgot. FAT, that is a file allocation table, right? FAT. FAT is recommended, but if your SD card has next and NT next technology. What is the other type? File type? NT. Is it called the NTSB? Yeah, NT something, right? Next technology. It's no good for this. NTSB is only for Windows. If you want to share, then you have to format it in FAT. Very simple. If you have SSD like this, mine. If we want to share this, any storage here, exchangeably between Windows systems and Mac OS, then you have to format this in FAT. But sometimes if you purchase this, then by default they format it in NTSB. Okay, then you have to reformat it. Sometimes if my storage works in Windows systems but not Mac OS, that is that. Okay, same thing. This is a Linux, right? If we want your Linux box to read your storage, like this SD card, then this SD card needs to be formatted in FAT. Simple. So format, you can format it by downloading sdcard.org if you do not have, but you can simply check it, right? How can you check? This is not Windows. I think if you check, on command line, Windows command line, if you type format or format type, whatever. Then it tells you the file type. But SD card usually formatted in FAT, so you do not have to worry about it much. Okay. And the next step is NOOBS, new out-of-box software that should be downloaded from raspberrypi.org. Okay. So I want to download it while you are. So download it and unfold it. If it is compressed, then you have to decompress it. So what you need to do here is that copy all of the folders in this NOOBS to your SD card. And then take that SD card from your laptop and plug it in your Raspberry Pi. Now you are ready to do. Okay. There are two ways that RASPBIN. Raspbian. There are a couple of options displayed, but I wanted to choose the Raspbian. Okay, Raspbian is perfectly fine. And this is a GPIO pin labels, but in this class we don't need to worry about this much. Okay, and then we're going to work on programming, Python and C. Okay, so I'm going to